Recording. Beautiful stuff. So Heidi Shannon is such an amazing coach and speaker. You know, she has this awesome power, this awesome presence, this amazing energy about her. And I know particularly I've had conversations with a lot of women that are really inspired by the way that she shows up, because she has this way where she can dance between the feminine and masculine really well. And she knows how to really stand in her power when she delivers. You know, she commands authority and respect. And I love the way she teaches. I love how nerdy and curious she is about life and just everything in it. We have a lot of like hour, 2 hour, 3 hour conversations sometimes where we just dive deep into the rabbit hole of like so many different things in life. And she has a world of knowledge. So I'm excited for Heidi to jump in with you right now and to teach you about your business vision. But she also teaches some structures and frameworks that I don't teach myself. I love that she's actually come up with this herself, and it's really powerful stuff. So I'm going to be sitting here taking note too. So make sure, guys, you have your pad, your pen, and please be present. No distractions. Erica, I see you getting super hyped. You're like, bring it. Love that stuff. Awesome. All right. And, you know, guys, I love the interaction. I love that you're in there. You're interacting with each other. Pop questions in there as we go. I'll be here as well to answer some questions as well. So I'll be typing, you know, some responses, and Heidi will be able to jump in and out of it too as she's presenting. But I know that she really wants to teach you guys something really tangible and practical for you to follow. All right. So presence, pad, pen, let's do this. Heidi, great to have you here.
I'm sitting in your office, Joel.
I know you are. It's a sexy looking office.
I just heard your dog biting my feet.
I haven't had the chance to be in for 2 months.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up. I just saw someone is up at 4:30 in the morning. So you guys are awesome. Okay, let's get into this. I'm going to dive straight in. But before I do, I want to see a show of hands for who already has a business. Give me a minute. Keep your hand up just so I can scroll through. Okay, cool. And who doesn't? Who is starting from absolute scratch? Sort of. Okay, awesome. All right, so what I'm going to share is relevant for whether you are just starting out or whether you have a business. So my background is actually mental health and how we work the relationship with ourselves and our internal world, but it's also business coaching and consultancy. And I know it sounds like a really odd combination, but it's actually not. Because when I first started out as a business coach and consultant, I never ever spent time on the business, because essentially marketing is maths, sales is maths. What gets in the way, and I could always see it if I was looking at someone's profit and loss statement, I could see it straight away. I'd be like, what happened there? And it would always be a relationship issue or a health issue or something that happened internally that was playing out in the business. And I love Joel's vision work, like love it. And it's what I've always used a very similar kind of vision process, because what I've found with business owners is it doesn't matter what we're doing. If our why isn't big enough, then you don't know where you're heading. So what the vision gives you is your why. And then we have to work backwards. So we work backwards then into your purpose. And this doesn't mean that you have to be serving in your purpose, because one of the first things that I recommend is that you never have all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to business, ever. So what I would encourage you to do is, yes, we're going to look at your purpose a little bit today. We're going to look at how to reverse engineer the vision, but you can utilize your purpose, your passion, your skills in multiple ways and in multiple arenas. The second thing I'm going to recommend is that you lose the idea as quickly as you can of exchanging time for money. Okay, so those two things, make sure that your eggs are not all in one basket. So what we're going to do today is come up with multiple ways to serve your purpose, multiple ways to serve the passion, so that it's dangerous. And the reason I say that is that I had a brick and mortar business, all eggs in one basket, and I lost it. And what we're seeing now on a global scale is people that were in that position. So diversifying, and it doesn't mean doing a million things at once, but looking at different ways to serve is really important. And doing that in the easiest, fastest, and most effective way. And what that means is that we have to lose this concept of I have to exchange my time for money. So I love building brick and mortar businesses. I love building local businesses. Like I love building online business. There is so many different ways for us to serve and show up in our genius, but we always want to be looking for the fastest, most effective, and easiest possible way to do that, because there is always something there. So let's look at reverse engineering your vision. Let me just see if I can find this. Okay, cool. So we just spoke about knowing your why. So what you guys have been doing with Joel, and the more powerful that why is, the more embedded in your cells that vision is, the more you feel it, the more you see it, the more you smell it, you know what you're gunning for on a daily basis. So when it comes to doing what it takes, if your vision is strong enough, anything that comes up along the way, because when you really, really want something, as soon as you set the desire for something, you've created an equal opposite. So there's always an opposing threat, so to speak, or something that will come at you when your desire for something is great. But when you have the vision in place, what it does is it gives you this ability to know that when any discomfort or resistance comes, because when we really are stepping up into that vision, challenges come. If we really want it and we're really going to step up and play deep in our lives, there's always going to be little challenges that come. But the more that you've felt it, the more that you know those challenges are going to be there, and you know how to hold yourself through that, then the easier it is to go after it. So the why has to be big enough. Then what I really like to do is look at what it costs. Now, the reason I do this is because you need to have a dollar amount on what your vision is going to cost you. Most people don't know even what their day-to-day life costs them. Okay, guys, I work with in high performance most of the time, and you would be surprised how many millionaires that have lost everything were operating without a budget. I'm not joking. It's scary. Now, it seems really nerdy and boring to sit down and figure out what it is your daily life is costing you and what it is your dream life is going to cost. Now, the first thing that you have to do with this is get really clear on where you're wasting time, money, and energy. Because as soon as you do a budget, you can actually see where you're wasting time, money, and energy. But what I urge you to do with your budgets is put a daily figure on the budget. Don't do a monthly or yearly figure, because it freaks your brain out. It puts you straight into overwhelm. So you want to have a daily figure. Because what happens when we get to these little challenges that come up with really stepping up into our vision is that all your bullshit about your own self-worth shows up. And I know this because I've done this. I have literally gone, here's my powerful vision. And when it started to come, I sabotaged it. When the money got to a certain level, my mind could only hit a certain ceiling. My mind was only comfortable with having $150,000 in the bank. So what I used to say to myself was, I need to have 100,000, or I used to say it all the time, I need to have 150,000 in the bank just in case. So guess what happened every time I hit 150,000? The just in case would happen. And it would disappear. And this is what I mean about sabotaging. So you can be sabotaging yourself without even knowing it. I would find a way to lose that money. And there's always a story about it. So everything around your worth. So your daily budget at the moment, it might be $40 a day. That's what it costs. It might be $300 a day. That's what it costs you to live. You have to know this figure because you have to know what the gap is. Your dream life figure could then be $700 a day. I know some people, their dream life figure per day is $7,000 a day. And they freak out when they see it. They're like, oh my God. And I'm like, good. Now you know where you're really heading. Because if you don't know that, if you did that over a year, everyone does this. Oh, I need $1 million a year to live my dream life. But you don't know what that is on a daily basis. If you break it down to a daily basis, it's like, cool. Now we know what products and services we have to create to meet that. And that's just maths and science. That part's easy. It really is. There will be something sitting in your head, in your heart, and in your hands, and in your circle, and in your environment that is ready and waiting and probably staring you in the face to be able to serve that figure. But what will happen is you'll start to create that and you'll be like, am I worthy? So what happens when people create their dream life budget is they start to limit it down. I love this. They actually start to delete rows in their spreadsheet. It's hilarious. I've seen particularly women do this. It's too much. I'm too greedy. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I'll just I'll delete the holidays. I'll delete that course that I wanted to study. They start deleting. I'm like, you're deleting your life. You're deleting your dreams. Every time you hit delete on that spreadsheet, you're hitting a ceiling. You've got your cement boots back on. But that ceiling that you have in place is imaginary. It was put there by other people. And there is always a way to nudge that ceiling. There is always a way to meet the figure. It might not happen like that. But the more powerful your visualization is, and on a cellular level, you are already comfortable living into that vision, the easier it's going to be, because people and the things that you need to make to meet it is going to show up. So do not limit the budget. Whatever your vision budget is, do not limit it. Get a daily figure. Go nuts. One of the biggest beliefs that comes up is, I'm greedy. I always get this. I feel really greedy. I feel like I'm taking too much. If your vision has integrity, if you have integrity in what you do, there is enough of everything for everyone. And you might actually realize, and I know some people realize, that their dream life budget is actually not that much different to where they're at now. And they've been overwhelming themselves and blowing everything out in their mind to think that everything is harder than it is. And then they realize that the gap between where they are and where they want to be is actually, it's not that big. And I do this with companies. Like, they're overwhelming themselves. Sometimes they're overstaffed and they're wasting a lot because they think the gap from where they are to where they've got to go is bigger than it actually is. So don't limit the budget. Forget about the how for now. Forget about how you're going to do it. We're going to talk about trust and faith a little bit later, but forget about the how. Make sure you include everything from how you want to contribute: savings, investments, holidays, time off, health. Make sure you include all of those things. Be careful of the knee-jerk reaction that you will have. It's like this impulse to start sabotaging yourself, and stop this before you already get there. Because everything that you question about yourself will come up. This is why I love doing this. I have done this with property investors that were literally sitting on millions of dollars of possible profit every year. And the reason that they weren't utilizing what they already had was down to a story of fear of his father from years ago. This is why I like you to do this now, because all your stories will come up, which is cool. Now we know what they are. Now we know how to work with them. Now we know how to transform that. You'll also wonder whether you are capable, but that's for all of you that like to control and think I have to do everything myself. There will always be people to support you on this journey. There is always a way. Always a way. When I first started in like more business development for property, I had never developed property before. I'd flipped a lot of restaurants. I'd built my own businesses. So what I did to prove myself was like, okay, and I knew, I was like, okay, I want $400,000 clients a year. I knew they didn't have the funds to pay me $100,000, and I didn't have the proof to be able to say, I can do this. I knew I could do it. I was going to figure it out as I went along. So I said to them, I'll do the work. You pay me a percentage. Done. My percentage is way higher than $100,000 a year. Way higher. And it goes over time. So there's always a way, whatever you're going to do. But I didn't come up with that figure and go, oh, I want a $100,000 client. I knew what my dream life budget was. My partner left and I was a single mom. So I was like, I have to do this. My why was big. So there will always be a way. So this is an example. This is your daily budget. It's a bit small. Let me see if I can just zoom in. I'm not checking your comments just yet because it distracts me. I'll have a look in a minute and then I'll answer questions and see if I can live coach some of you as well. So you get your daily amount. It's pretty simple. I'll send you guys these slides so you have them. And then you get your dream life amount. But a lot of people don't put in savings and contribution and retirement into their budgets. And then I know so many women especially that do this, because I am the first generation, and there's a lot of you here are the first generation of women doing this, managing our own careers, managing our own finances on our own ever. So we weren't taught by our mums. And actually, and I know Joel would agree with this, a lot of people are not taught how to manage money in the same way that you're not taught how to manage your limiting beliefs and stories at school. We're not taught how to transform this and come from here. But we're also not taught how to manage money. And so what I know around money is that all of our stuff comes up because it's actually, for most of us, unknown territory. So when our stuff comes up, we have to look at removing our roadblocks and transforming the relationship that we have to ourselves. The reason that most people are living far below their own human potential, holy moly, there would be so many sitting on this call that you are sitting on something brilliant. I know you are. You've got it tucked under your seat. You're not sharing it with the world. And you're living to survive instead of flourishing. And it all comes down to, it's just the way the early human mind works. The early human mind is built to keep you safe, but it hasn't had an upgrade in like thousands of years. You're still using the first computer system that was ever made. Like, what was the first Mac that was ever put out? Because I can't remember what that computer was called, but we are literally still using that system. So you're trying to operate in a modern world using a system a software system that's never had an upgrade. So this cement boot syndrome that happens when we aim for just survival, where the ceiling comes in instead of flourishing. So I want you to think about, rather than I aspire to have this business, rather than I aspire to get the approval and acceptance that I'm seeking? What if I was to inspire? What if I shift from aspiration to inspiration? What if I am greedy turns into there is enough of everything for everybody? What if just surviving is mediocre and flourishing is greatness? We have to start turning these kind of beliefs that will show up. What if self-limitation became self-leadership and service? The belief of I can't and I don't know how, there is always going to be someone to help you and support you. You just have to talk to people and you just have to ask. I hated doing this. Joel knows this about me. I'm a do it. I can do it myself. I don't need your help. I've got this. I had to call my brother last year and ask for help for the first time. And he couldn't stop laughing. He literally was like, he said to me, he said, was that like chewing on glass? And he's like, of course we'll support you. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I have to ask for this. But what happens when you set your vision, guys, is there is a vacuum effect. I don't know if this has started to happen for some of you already, but when I went to work with Emil and Joel at Elevate and redid my vision, my life got ripped apart. Like everything left and then everything changed and came in. But there's a vacuum effect sometimes that can happen. And we have to trust and have faith that it's taking us exactly where we need to go. Because once you manifest and you set that vision, you can't undo that. You can't go back to playing small. You can't unhave the awareness. And it's the same when we start to actually work with our thoughts and our stories, is you can't unhave that awareness. You can't unhave compassion once you've had it. You can't unhave self-kindness once you've built it. Once you've built it, it's there. So know your fears and concerns about the vision and confront them now. Know the fears and concerns about how I'm going to meet that dollar amount. Know them now. Aim to flourish and there will always be someone to support you. There is enough of everything for everybody in this world. The universe has an endless supply of joy, freedom. I'm not joking. There is no limitation on that where you just get to have a little bit. There is an endless supply of abundance. Look at the space around you right now. There is an incredible amount of space. There is an incredible amount of opportunity. It's endless. And I can absolutely guarantee you that you comparing and copying is going to strangle your own genius. Mentors, yes. Roadmaps from other people that have been where you want to go, absolutely. Comparing yourself to others, if you do this, get off social media because that's the one place where it shows up the most. There is only one you. And that is your power, and people don't use their uniqueness enough. Whatever has happened in your past, serve with it. Take it, stop entangling with it, and use it. Fire it forward. Because most people's purpose, everything that they wanted to, that they're looking for in terms of how they can serve the world, when I say it's sitting right in front of you, it is inside you. It is the experiences that you've had that will be your most unique, powerful way to serve in the world. What are your concerns? I'm going to give you these slides so that you can write them down now because we have to get clear on them. Then we look at something called loops. I think Joel has been doing with this with you. You have to close them down. Whatever is in the way, if it is a self-limiting belief, find someone to help you transform it. If it is whatever your roadblocks are, get it out. Because as soon as you say, I don't think I can do this, there'll be a way and there'll be someone to help you. So,
hey Heidi,
yeah.
Real quick, John Templeton challenged everyone in the group to remove their old identity. And actually Goran, who's on the call here, he sent a picture in and he's like, dude, check this out. And he literally had like, he chucked all his old clothes out and he like switched everything up. And people were getting new haircuts. They were dyeing their hair. It was like this
Oh
new
my God, this is great.
Really cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the chat quick to see. Just give me a minute.
And in the meantime, guys, just drop in the comments what's coming up for you when you think about putting a number.
Yeah, drop in now what's yeah. Can anyone give me their number? Give me your dream life number. I love this part. This is fun. This is when we get to play with how we're actually going to do this. So Joel, you guys have covered values so far?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we covered core values and vocational values, and they know what their needs are. So we have the needs triangle. So it's the most important at the top, and then the other two that are feeding it.
Cool.
Yeah. Everyone should have done that. If you haven't, do it.
Yeah, because guys, one of the first things we look at when creating business, reshaping business that you already have, serving at your highest possible potential, is the first thing that needs to happen from the ground level up is you have to know your values. And if I ask you, you have to be able to answer. You have to be able to answer like that. Because the values meets the purpose meets the vision. You have to be able to operate on a daily basis, moment to moment. If a self-limiting belief comes up, you have the right and the opportunity to transform that and step into your values in less than 3 seconds. So if you know your values, you get to laugh at that story and go, huh, that's really interesting, but I just want to show up as myself right now. And myself is aligned with connection, or myself is aligned with abundance, or whatever it is that your values are. I recommend, for me, I can't remember if I have too many of them. I don't know if my memory is failing because I get older or something, but I like to have 3 business and 3 personal, and then I know I can pull them out. So someone just wrote, I fear I won't.
It's Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia, yeah. I fear I won't get my number, or my partner wants as much as I want, or I will lose all my friends because I make more than them. This is so interesting. It's not your job. It is not your job to be concerned with the level that they're at. When I was talking about sabotaging myself before, I realized that the reason I would do that is my dad used to say to me very often, I always had, like my mum used to say to me when I was a kid that I had really expensive taste. She said, you could walk into and I'm a Libran. We love beautiful things. We love beautiful things. So my mum would say, every time you walk into a shop, you walk straight for the most expensive dress on the rack, when I was a kid. And I felt bad because my mum would sort of make me aware that I was costing her. And my dad, if I ever wore anything too fancy, or, like when I moved to Melbourne and they came to visit, and I used to take them to beautiful restaurants. I was in the restaurant industry. I'd take them to beautiful restaurants, and he would drop comments all the time like rich people are snobs. So when I reached this certain amount of money, I honestly didn't realize that I was capping it to keep comfortable in my family, because I didn't want them to feel bad, and I didn't want to be considered a snob. And then I was like, Whose life am I living here? Who am I living for? I'm here to serve. If that brings me abundance, great. If I do it with integrity and abundance comes back to me, awesome. It's not your job to cap yourself, to play small, to fit into other people's levels. Inspire, not aspire, and they will rise up to meet you, or maybe you'll have to love them from a distance for a while. I've done this with people. I'm like, I love you, but where I'm going at the moment, I'll see you soon. I'll be back soon. But I have to love you from a distance for a while. Sana, I'm just reading. Yeah. Okay, so get down the concerns. I love that this stuff is coming up for you guys right now, because this is like having a big bag of crap in your lounge room that everyone can smell and not ever taking it out, and it comes out in your business somewhere. It does. It's like having a beautiful garden and a nice car in the driveway and this great big beautiful house and a big pile of stinking crap sitting in the corner, and everyone's going, what is that? And you're like, I don't know, what is it? And it comes out in your spreadsheet. It comes out. Oh, me, 20,000 a day. This is awesome. Cool. If we want to reach 20,000 a day, we have to play ball. I'm going to quickly cover your purpose, and then I want to coach a couple of you on how it is that we can do this. Let me just stop sharing for a moment. Hands up who feels they know their purpose and what to serve within the world. Okay. Keep your hands up. Okay, we've got a bit of work to do. Let's get into this. So when it comes to purpose, like I said before, whatever has happened in your life, your deepest challenges, the experiences that challenged you the most or inspired you the most, usually the ones that challenged you the most, the things that brought you to your knees, they were gifts, they were given to you for a reason. And they are pointing you in the direction of how you should be serving in this world. I've worked in a lot of trauma. I've done a decade in mental health. I work with cases that most people won't even touch. And what I know about whatever has happened to you in the past is that the healing of all of your fears, traumas, pain is in the doing of serving with it. I have never seen anyone heal from severe trauma without doing that. Doesn't mean they have to go into the same industry and do the same thing, but there is a way to serve with it. So, what do you love? What do you love? Everything that you love, you need to write it down. This points you towards your passions. Singing, dancing, cooking, nature, whatever. This is the easiest diagram I've found to be able to understand your purpose. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you be paid for? Smack bang in the middle is something we call your ikigai. You can't do this enough. I do it constantly because with one purpose that you have, there are multiple ways to serve with it. So if I'm looking for a new way to serve with the same purpose, then this diagram helps you bring that out. What you love and what you're good at, this gives you passion, but you might not be able to make any money out of it. You might love elephants, you might be good at cleaning elephants, but the world might not want to pay you to clean elephants. So we have to find something that's going to work in every single area. What does the world need at the moment? Oh my God, that column should be just like full. What does the world need? What can you be paid for? This doesn't have to be, this can be anything that you've done in the past, and it can be things that you could do, but you don't want to. Anything that at all that you can be paid for. What you'll see is themes. You'll start to see themes of what your mission is. Who kind of knows what their purpose is, but isn't sure? Let me just open this up. I kind of see names. Who wants to speak? Can they unmute themselves, Joel, or do I have to do it?
No, you have to unmute them. Everyone goes on mute when they come in. So just go to participants. In the top right, you'll see some people putting their hand up there. So guys, just use the hand button to raise your hand there, and then we can pick which one raise their hand.
I am. Got it. Kieran. Whoop. Joel, can you do it?
Yeah, I just unmuted Kieran. I think I have to do it.
Hi.
Hi, Kieran. Talk to me.
Hi, Heidi. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Excited. I'm on fire at the moment.
Awesome. All right. Talk to me. What do you think your purpose is?
My purpose, I believe, is to serve humans. Serve humans through my story, through what I've survived, and who I'm becoming.
And do you have any ideas about how to do that? Give me a quick rundown on your story.
Right, basically my story, I left home when I was 15. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm actually really nervous, so if my voice is a little bit shaky, excuse me. Yeah, so I left home when I was 15, broke away from culture, broke away from absolutely everything that I knew. Slept on streets, lived in hostels, and basically created a life for myself. Obviously now recognising as I'm doing more and more work on myself, I created my story on obviously all my fears and everything I had to be and what I should be. Past couple of years, I've now sort of gone on a self-discovery journey, and started to appreciate everything I've been through, recognising that everything I survived, I've survived it to become who I'm going to be. That makes sense?
Yeah, great. Love it. And it can take us years to get that awareness.
Yeah.
You know, and congratulations, because a lot of people won't ever get to that point. They will live in resentment and regret of the past without realizing that that was all a beautiful gift, and that we can take it and turn it into a beautiful gift for others. So what is your idea? What are your ideas for how to serve with this?
Right, so basically my aim is to become a coach, life coach, mindset coach. My aim is what I learned, and I'm still learning daily, is what I'd like to put out there and teach people is on how to let go of everything they have become through their trauma, to then release that and live in their purpose. Cool. And live who they're born to be rather than who they were designed to be.
Great. And what's your dream life amount roughly?
This is the bit I struggle with. I need to work on this. Yeah, I need to spend a lot of time working on this, because I've done this quite a few times where I've set up a few businesses and I'm successful within my own right, but I resonate with self-sabotaging so much, like so much. I go so far and then I go backwards. And it's all down to my self-worth, acknowledging, sort of what I am worth, because obviously throughout my life, I have spent a lot of time caring too much about what others think. And I'm now shedding that.
I want you to ingrain this. I want you to write it on your arm for today. Aspire versus inspire.
I'm writing this down. So aspire.
When you're in aspiration, it is about what others think. I aspire to be this to get fed. When you're in inspiration, it's 100%. You're moving from ambition to service. You're moving into, I am here to serve the world with my gifts. And it does that matter? You don't need everyone to love you. You only need to affect one person with trauma. One. I built an entire mental health little empire off one person. I didn't aim to get everyone in the world to love it. I didn't even tell anyone what I was doing. My family didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I learned to keep my mouth shut around people that I knew were going to knock what I was doing. And another thing is that a lot of people, I also learned that if 95% of people say don't do it, that it's probably an absolute winner of an idea.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with.
We have to put goggles on with your vision sometimes. Like you have to put blinkers on and just zone in on service. How do I serve? How do I serve? How do I serve? It's okay. The self-worth stories are going to come up, but as long as we know what to do with them when they do. And that is self-kindness. Hold yourself as kindly as you can, because there's a little girl in there saying, don't rock the boat, you're going to die. And you have to embrace that part of yourself and hold it as kindly as you can and go, and it feels uncomfortable. I still do this. It's like, oh, like when Joel asked me to speak at their event last year, I'd asked for it. I'd actually manifested, not speaking on stage, but I'd manifested what I wanted to do with mental health in the world. Do you know what I mean? I'd had that vision. And then when they were like, you're speaking, I was just like, no freaking way. I was like, it's not happening. And I had to like move through all of that. To ask Joel, I was like pacing. I almost wet myself before I went on stage.
It's not happening. I'm like, it happened.
But you have to just, if my vision is to alleviate mental health issues in the world, if that requires me to go and do something I'm damn uncomfortable doing, so be it. So get clear on your dream life amount.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm 100% working on at the moment. Definitely.
It should only take you about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Overthinking, creating too many issues in my own mind.
Yeah, that's all sabotage.
Yeah.
Because you're going into how and who's going to listen to me and why, and awesome. Great freaking stories. Put them over there in the corner and get back to work.
See, Heidi, that's exactly one of my biggest obstacles that I'm finding at the moment, is because I've always worked with selling a product. So it's always easy to sell a product. You have passion in a product. You know its worth. You know what it can do for people. So I'm good at selling. The biggest thing that I've struggled with at the moment is, because obviously the coaching side, I mean, I have sort of set up as the business. I've got a name for it. It's called the Awakened Warrior. But the bit I'm struggling with is, again, all self-sabotage is, why would somebody want to take me seriously? Why would somebody want me? And it's like the vulnerabilities that are coming in at the moment, because obviously I'm selling me, and it's like, oh, this is just a little bit too much. So I find myself severely sabotaging myself.
Bring it back to one person. You only need to affect one person. You're making it too big.
Yeah, I am. And I've got this thing, I'm a big shot, or was a big shot. Well, yeah.
Bring it back to, I need to inspire one person. I took one person on my retreat. They sent another. Actually, they sent 10. Nearly everyone that I've ever worked with will send me 10 people. I don't use social media. I don't even use my website. I just let the universe sort it out. I'm literally like, this is my vision. Let's bring it on. I work my ass off. Joel knows that. I'm a hard worker. But you just have to bring it down to, I just need to, it's the same with standing on that stage and speaking. It's the same here. It's like, I don't need to please and affect all of you, but I know that I might touch one. And if that one goes out into the world and there is a butterfly effect from that one person, that is a ripple of positive change in your family, the way you parent, the way you do business, that is freaking huge. And that will keep going and going and going. So every time you affect one person, you have that power to affect positive change. And that's all you need to focus on.
Perfect.
But for those that like to go out all big, thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you so much too.
For those of you that like to make it all really complicated and big, we need to do that and then break it all down. So what we do is get your product ideas down. Get your product ideas down, because obviously with your dream life, we just have to be able to get enough to be able to cover your now life, and then we can start inching towards dream life with your ideas that you have. So Kieran, let's say it's coaching one person. How can I make it easy? Is it going to be easy to do this? And rate it from 1 to 10, because people have a habit in business of creating things that are actually really hard to pull off. I used to do this. I used to find the hardest, most complicated way to do things. So the reason I like you to do this is because when you ask yourself the word easy, how does it feel in your body? We immediately are like, if you don't feel that in your body, it is telling you that this is probably not a great idea. You need to start listening to your body. If you feel a little bit of fear about the how, that's cool. We don't have to worry about that just yet. Can I make it fast? Kieran, could you go and coach one person next week? Someone that you know, and go, hey, I just want to use you as my guinea pig, if that's okay. I'd like to try out some techniques with you. Or how about I email or send a message to 3 people that I know that have been through something difficult and go, tell me the 3 things that you would need support with the most, that you have struggled with. This is how we make it fast, because we just get started. Break it down into tiny, small little bits. Can I meet my now life budget with this? Not straight away. And my dream life at some point. Because seriously, guys, there's some businesses that will never get you to your dream life. You might need to have multiple of them. I did this last year when I stopped killing myself to run 1 million retreats, and I moved into high performance. I literally charge about 10 times the amount that I used to in business development and in high performance, because the value and because of the effect of the results ripple through a company. So the value is much bigger, much bigger. So I have no problem solving the mental health issues on a mass grand scale in a company and charging for it, because I know how much money it makes them. So do I really, really want this? Do not create ideas to please others or because you think you have to or you should. Do you really want to? And again, the reason I get you to do this little table is you have to feel into the idea. And if you already have a business, I urge you to do this consistently, because you can do something that is your purpose and is that you are passionate about, but it might not be your passion and purpose. There's a difference. There could be purpose in your business, purpose in what you do. You could be even quite passionate about it, but it's not your passion and purpose. And the thing is that your passion and your purpose, just like your values and your vision, will change up over time. So you have to be able to keep checking in. And I had to do this with my retreats. I felt like I had to, because I had 40 staff. I didn't want them to lose their jobs. But I kept saying to myself, I need to get out of this now. I need to serve in a different way. I still had the same purpose. I was still passionate about what I was doing. But it started to feel hard, not easy. It started to feel slow, not fast. It was slow moving to build that business. It was viable, but I didn't want it anymore. And I kept saying to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to. And guess what? The whole thing fell on its ass. It got ripped out from underneath me. So we have to check back in with how we're serving and continually do that to go, do I really want this? Does it meet my values? Because as your values change, you have the right to shift up the way that you serve. And the most important column at the end, what support do I need? What tools do I need? What resources do I need? Because that's going to show you exactly what your how is going to look like. And I'm telling you guys, the how is what you all worry about, but it's the easiest to do because it's just factual, hands-on stuff that you can get support with. Then we start mapping. Kieran, this is for you. You need to put in week 1, I finish my Dream Life budget. Actually put it today. Dollar amount. What tools do I need? What resources? What support? Deadline complete over and over again. What tools? What resources? What support? Deadline over and over again. Break it down into week by week. How, guys, I can take your vision, and I know Joel does this as well if you work intensively with him, and whatever you're planning in 10 years, we can do it in 1 to 2. If you learn to chunk, in coaching we call it chunking. Even with your mind, we break down the concerns, we chunk it all down. I don't even set dates on my deadline, like on my maps that I do. Like I do really big, long maps for companies because it freaks the mind out. I give them deadlines and KPIs, but I just focus on, with color, this is where we're starting. First thing, tools and support that we need. How many of you have created something and then realized that you were doing, or you've worked a job where you realize that you're doing that job or that company or whatever it is that you created, you were doing the work of about 4 or 5 people? This is why mapping is really important. That's why I have that column. What tools and resources do I need? How many hours is it actually going to take to do that? And what you'll realize, I just did it with the program that Emil and I just launched. So I was getting really overwhelmed and we hadn't done a map, and I did a map and I said to him, there's 150 hours of work here to be done. I actually sat down and was like, with everything that needs to be done in this map, there are 150 hours of work to do, but there's only 1 week to do it. So this is why I was overwhelmed. I was like, we need 2 people now. I am not a robot. So when you do this with your idea, this is what I mean about, is it easy? You have to look at it and go, is it really possible to pull this off? And then you have to do projections. Boring as, I mean, Joel would just probably nod off to sleep if I made him do this. But this is where I make all my money for people, because I get to show them where their time, money, and energy is going, and I get to show them how much they're going to make if they learn how to map and project properly. So what projection does is you could take those 3 ideas, right? You could take idea 1 of coaching, idea 2 of writing a book. Let's just use Karen as an example. Idea 3 of an online program. You look at how fast, effective, easy it can be, what tools and resources do I need? And then we set about figuring out if we can't afford that, can we swap? Like if you're starting from nothing, like how do we actually get this off the ground? So then we go idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, actually looking at there, and you can't really see it because I really don't want you to see in detail some of those figures, but you get to see with this particular spreadsheet, what we realized is the one actual core product, which is up the top here, that we were focusing on was that I'd actually already built an entire website around that product because we thought that was how we were going to serve, because it's kind of like what our vision was originally for the business. And then we realized it was the most unviable out of all of them. So you have to look at, when you do projections, all you need to do is go, okay, idea 1, I can sell this many of them over this much time, and it's going to make me this. That's all you're doing. It's times tables, guys. Like we did this at school for a reason. I used to hate maths. I failed maths at school, and it's funny because it's where I make all my money now, on spreadsheets, because people hate doing them. But it's literally times, 7 products times 12 is going to make me this much. And then I need this many clients, or I have to sell this many books. And you'll start to see, oh my God, I'm going to have to work 40 hours a week with clients to meet my dream life. That's not going to work. Or I'm going to have to sell 5,000 coffees to meet my dream life. That's not going to work. This is where you'll start to see exchanging your time for money is probably not going to get you there. And it's okay. In that particular spreadsheet, we have about 3 or 4 different ideas. There's a couple of different programs, and it's funny because the one program we weren't even focusing on was smashing it out of the ballpark in terms of income. So we didn't know actually how to do it because it was involving a lot of LinkedIn selling, which is totally not my forte. So we had to find someone that can do that. Cool. We don't have enough money to pay them. Awesome. Let's give them a percentage. There's always a way. There's always a way. So get your ideas and project them. How many do I need to sell to get where I need to go? And if you have to have multiple ideas, then awesome. That's okay. But lose the concept of exchanging your time for money. Doesn't have to be now, but in the future. I can guarantee you it's I've worked for some seriously wealthy people. They do not exchange their time for money. Okay. Before we talk about trust, how much time we got? Ooh, I always go over time.
You're getting close, Heidi. You can go over a little bit if you'd like. I know, guys, we usually have an hour session, but if you want to stay in and continue to absorb that good knowledge and wisdom from Heidi, do your thing.
Who's got a question? Or wants to share? Joel, can you let them in?
Yeah, guys, make sure you raise your hand. There's a little option there to raise your hand. Not physically, but with the button.
Because I don't think I can.
Or the other thing is you could do the thumbs up on the reactions. There's the reactions tab. All right, let's get Pip in because Pip's got it. She's all about it with her physical. So let's go. Pip, you're in, sweet. Jump in.
I need my phone to see all the buttons. So. For me, I guess I'm starting coaching, shifting from a horse business, and I know that my story is my gift. I've had
Were you on
cancer
the
twice.
summit?
Pardon?
Were you on the summit webinars?
Yes, yes.
And you were asking about the horse business?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm in Dubai.
Cool. Awesome. Because you asked so many times and I was like, no one's answering the horse questions. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So horses is my passion. I've had a business here for 2 years. It's, you know, it's not that viable, but it's something that I can still have as a passion on the side. And I've started coaching. I've got my first client, and I know that my experiences have led me to where I am to serve. And I've had breast cancer twice, but it's not the cancer field per se where I want to be in. I don't like the medical system. I don't like doctors, you know, that kind of whole world. I'm like, scoot.
Yeah.
And so I'm a bit needing some guidance as to how best to serve and what my kind of ideal person is that I want to help. I think it's like I have a huge sense of adventure and passion for the outdoors. It's inspiring people to live their best life, and perhaps after illness or divorce.
Yeah, I was about to say what lights you up, and you just said it. So it doesn't have to be, yeah, like you said, serving people with cancer, but there's still a way to use that journey and use that story. And if you love horses, then I was going to say outdoors. Like, why don't you look at, you know, it's so simple, but like we use this pyramid. It's actually built on the yogic system. And one of the most important things for any human being that has to be built on the bottom foundation is a connection with nature. And we overlook it. We have forgotten the profound ability for the body to heal when in nature, because it gives us everything that we need. The sun, the moon, we need equal time with both of those things for our hormones to be balanced, for our hypothalamus to be balanced, and tell all the other glands what to do in the body. Putting your feet on grass, Emil said this to me yesterday because we've been a bit stressed with this program we're building. He's like, you need to put a pot of grass under your desk. I was like, I think I might just move my desk to the lawn, seriously. Because feet on grass is the fastest way to reduce anxiety. And I have coached people with the most severe panic attacks. It's happened at Joel's event. I used to be the breakout coach. So if someone like had to break out of the room, I'd take them outside. Yeah. And feet on grass, feet in water is the fastest way to get them down, you know, from that absolute freak out state that they're in. So don't underestimate the power of that. And there will be a way to sell it for those that need it most, you know, especially who do you want to work with? Who would you love to spend your time with?
I think really inspired people. Cool. I find that when somebody's like really, really in their stuff, I find that quite heavy. I think I prefer the people that, you know, have got that stuff sorted, really, that really want to go to the next level.
Cool. And it is like, it is possible to find those. I mean, I know I loved going from like mental health. I was at the bottom of like getting people out of the hole. And, you know, Emil says it to me all the time. He's like, I don't know why you want to work with people that are just, you have to drag them, you know. I like it because the fulfillment is like the results are extraordinary if someone's at the bottom to where they can be. But I can absolutely tell you working in high performance with people that are highly functioning is so much fun, because what you can actually, the effects of what you're doing and can see happen so fast with people at that level. And I mean, Dubai, like there's so many people at that level that you could be working with for sure. To be able to, and I think if you really pitched it that way, if you want to go from great to better, for those that just want to get better and better and better and get more and more and more out of life. Because even it's lonely at the top. I know this about my high-end clients. It's lonely.
Yeah, I know some of my friends super lonely. super lonely. They don't have mates to do cool stuff with. You know, not everyone at that level is fit and healthy to go adventuring.
Yeah, and it's also the money thing. So sometimes they're like, you know, there's people around them for the wrong reasons, and there's a whole level of issues. Have you started? You've got your first client. So I would talk in depth to 3 real people that are at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's your first starting point, is be like, hey, I need to know, okay, everyone write this down, because it doesn't matter if you're writing a blog, it does not matter who you're serving. First of all, identify the person, which is what we're doing right now. Who is the actual person? Where do they live? Where do they sleep? How do they dress? What do they earn? What is their job? Get an avatar for this person. Then write down all of their pain. What are the pains of this person? What is the pain? Every single pain point they have, write it down. Won't matter what person you're dealing with, everyone has stories. Doesn't matter how highly functioning you are. Everyone has a story and a belief about something. And you know, at the top here, one of the biggest issues that they have is the fear of losing it all is massive. They're terrified of what will happen to their identity if you took that business or company away from them, because they've built their identity, you know, they're embedded in something. And what got them to where they are isn't going to take them to the next level. So usually people at that level have used actually a lot of fear to push themselves to get where they are, and they're actually really hard on themselves. But they realize when they get to that level that it's not going to work to get them to where they need to go next, because what they're lacking is connection. What they're lacking is because they kind of get it all, and then it's like, well, then what? So they usually want the spiritual teachings and more connection, and it's different learnings on a different level. So that requires compassion. That requires sitting and being still and connecting with something deeper. And for them to lose that, because it's what got them to where they were, was hardness on themselves. It's a really tricky kind of space for them to be in, to then have to soften. But it's like, if I soften, I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah, I've seen this with one of my friends, and he's super successful financially, like amazing setup life, and drinks a bit. And I went, why do you drink? He said, I think I'm bored. I said, then you need to serve, you know, because he hasn't got to that, like, how can I, you know, give to the world? It's been accumulating and
contribution, you know, that's the time for them to step into contribution and to, tap back into their purpose. And this is what I mean, like, purpose, it just can be recycled over and over. There's so many ways to utilize your purpose. You might build a business doing something else and your purpose might be on the side, kind of thing. But so who is the person that you're talking to? What is their problem, or what is their pain? How can you show perspective to this person? You have to either have a story to identify with them, to build rapport, or you have to have other client stories to be able to give this person perspective and let them know that you fully are inside their head, inside their heart, inside their issues, and you know them back to front. And this doesn't matter, guys, if you're selling coffee. Seriously, you can be selling toilet paper and you still have to know who you're talking to, what the problem is of this person, and how you can show them perspective, that you understand their problem. If it's toilet paper, they don't like rough toilet paper because it hurts the bottom. So you have to say,
that's where my self
go, Pip.
My self-doubt kicks in about my skills to be able to, you know, make an offer to these people. Then it's just like,
I can tell from talking to you for 2 minutes that you're capable of doing this. Everyone is going to doubt themselves. You're always going to doubt your skills. I still doubt myself, and I've been in mental health, and sometimes I'm like, do I really know what I'm doing? And I'm like, I've been doing this. I've got 10,000 hours under my belt. I bloody hope so. But I still do it. And this is what I mean about the human mind, is that you have to realize that that doubt is a part of being human. It's you choosing to watch and observe it and go, that's interesting, but I'm going back to service and inspiration now. You have to let your mind have its say. Those thoughts are never going to go away. If you wait for your self-limiting stories to disappear before you start serving, you'll never do it. You have 10 times more, oh my God, 100 times more potential than you realize. All of you. Every single one of you here, whatever you think your potential is, times it by 100. Guaranteed. Everyone does this. This is what I mean about cement boots. It's like, I just put my cement boots back on and put my little ceiling because it feels safe. You get something out of this. You get something out of staying comfortable. We get something out of putting the cement boots on and going, I'm just going to stay here for a while. You are ripping off humanity if you do not serve. You are breaking your own heart. You are doing yourself an injustice, but you're also doing an injustice to the world because all of you are hiding yourselves. You weren't put here to hide. You were not put here to hide. You were here to serve. You were here to step into who you were born to be. And we need to do this now, guys. We need to do this now. Everyone needs to up the ante right now. Because I don't know if you've seen the bullshit that's going on. It's like people's vibration needs to go up a notch. It's time. It is seriously time. I have been waiting for something like this to happen. And the thing is, about the people that you want to work with, they can affect change on a grand scale.
I mean, my friends here, I've like inspired them all to be fit and climb, we've climbed Kilimanjaro, done 1,000-kilometer horse races. It's like that group of people function at a way different level from when I met them, just because I've kind of gone in and gone, hey guys, like you have all these opportunities. You've got plenty of money. Do it. Let's do this.
Great.
So,
Get them to
that part is
testimonials.
Okay, cool.
Ask
and then
them.
speaking, how do I get on stage? How do I go and speak and share my kind of crazy story with all the...
I don't know. Ask Joel. I'm trying to avoid it.
Yeah, I know. It scares me, so I want to do it.
Plague.
I probably would if it came to the crunch, but that is one of my dreams.
I think for that industry, like you'd be better off going, like to start speaking, you're always better off going into corporations and talking about, the power of presence in nature, the power of connecting to nature, of getting outside and moving your body and not making it so goddamn boring by just having to go to the gym or something, adventure retreats. Holy crap. There's money in doing that, especially in Dubai.
Because what you said about retreats and how you kind of burnt out a bit and it was so full on, that spooked me a little bit. I was like...
It's not an easy business. It's a risky business. Retreats are a risky business, but they're fun though. It's an amazing, fulfilling, fun business. But it's risky because you have to get the numbers, which is why if you go to a company and they're just going to pay you and it's already booked and done, it's fine. Because the way I was running it wasn't smart. Like I started in high performance, so I would run $25,000 a week, one person. Should have stayed doing that. Then I got caught in the idea of I have to, if you ever hear yourself say that, stop. I have to help everybody. So, I'll start running one a month for a group, which is risky because you have to get the numbers or you lose all the money. And that happened a couple of times. I'd run retreats for free. I'd have my whole team there getting paid and me getting nothing. But then I decided that I'd run 2 a month. And then I decided I'd get my own center. And then I had to pay for the center. So then I started running 4 a month. And then I had to get another center. It was a disaster. But it came from, I have to help everyone. So this is why I have that table of, is it fast? Is it easy? Is it going to be effective? What support do you need? Because I was literally, when I stepped out of that business, 6 people to replace me. So the whole business was unviable. It took 6 people to replace one person. It was ridiculous. You have to do your projections and your business budget as if you're doing it for somebody else. Because here's what you'll do. Oh, yeah, I'll save a bit of money there because I can do that. Oh, yep, I can do that too. Oh, yeah. And you know, this is the thing about retreats, is you can end up doing everything, because otherwise it's very, it's hard to make money unless you're kind of the coach, the yoga teacher, the everyone. So company adventure retreats, totally different story, excellent money in them. And, you know, you run some retreats like that where you're holding space and the speaking will come.
And you've just given me so many ideas, because like the puzzle pieces are almost all here. Like Dubai, I already have a government initiative where they have, I think it's 30, I don't know what it's called, 30 for 30 days. All over Dubai, there's free yoga, everything you can dream of, exercise and sport. And there's an app, and it's just, it tells you all over the city where you can do something to move your body for a whole month, a year, all provided by the government, to say we want the fittest, healthiest people in the world. And so, you know, that high level of, you know, ambition for the people here is already existing from a government level.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You already have, you already, this is the thing, this is so interesting, because you already have everything that you need. Everyone does. And it's just when you start talking about it and workshopping your ideas with like-minded people, don't do it with someone who's going to rip your idea apart. You know, that you start to go, oh, I do, everyone does this. Oh yeah, I know this person. Oh yeah, I've already done the, you know, these people that I've worked with, they've, you know, their lives are completely changed because of what we did. And I'm like, really? You just...
And then, I mean, with the corona, like here I am in Dubai living my dream and my kids are in Australia, and then it's like, bad mother, I need to run. Like my default is, yeah. So all of that shit came up too.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, do I give it up right now because it's like, you know.
What do you think your kids would want to do?
Exactly, stay. I've had the discussions a million times. They're like, we're cool, and all of our friends that are stuck with their parents are sick to death of their parents. Like, you know, it's not necessarily something they're dreaming of.
Okay, I'm gonna, Joel, when I give you these slides to share with everyone, there's an audio that I have about how to transform your relationship to your stories, get back in the present, get attached to your values, and hit go. You all need to plug it in on a daily basis.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Because all I'm hearing is the stories that just keep coming up, and they always will. And you're all thinking that I need the stories and the limitations to go away before I have the right to serve. No, they're always going to be there. You start now. That's your job.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And guys, remember, we have the PCCC framework. We have the procrastination framework.
I love that procrastination framework.
Yeah, you guys have go-to frameworks. And like I said on the first ever call that we had together, even in the 90-day game plan masterclass, I said, I go back to them all the time. Heidi does PCCCs all the time.
I have a PCCC's board in my lounge room.
There you go. Always working on
it's right next to my head. I can't avoid it. It's right there. My values are right next to it.
Yep.
Trust and manifestation. I'm going to send you the slides, and there's a bit down the bottom because we're pretty much running out of time. But
is the spreadsheet in there as well? That everyone can.
I need, you know what? Let me tweak one that's not ours. Like I'll tweak a client's one and remove their names and stuff on it and send it through so you can see how to do projections and a budget. Let me work on it today because I need to do it anyway.
Yeah, we'll have the replay up, and then underneath it we'll have it as a document, because I know Iman was asking about that. So
yeah, everyone always wants that particular spreadsheet. It just shows you how much we make. So I can't give it to you. So trust. Faith. This is one thing I left out of business for years. I have to do it all myself. I have to make it hard. Now, I set the intention and I let it go. I get to work every day, but I learned after getting, and I honestly would question with my little victim on why I have lost everything that I've ever earned a couple of times, because it has happened to me a couple of times in my life. Even though I'm really savvy in business, I would lose it all. And I just didn't get what was happening. And like I said before, I had a ceiling that I was comfortable with. And every time I'd hit that ceiling, I'd be like, oh, how do I get rid of all the money and all the fun and the freedom? I don't know what to do with this. I have to make myself fit in with everybody else's standards, so I'll come back down here. But the reason that I lost everything, and it took me a while to really work through this, is that I didn't really have faith and trust that it could happen easily. I honestly did not believe. I had been earning my own money since I was 14. I'd gotten everything I'd ever had myself, and I didn't believe that it could be easy to do that. I came from the money story of work hard to get everything that you have. And I knew that was there. I just didn't realize how powerful it was. So I'm a yoga teacher before I'm anything else. And surrender to God is one of the first, what we call moral codes in the yoga system. Now, in yoga, they don't believe that there's a God. They believe in source, and that we come from a source and we go back to it. And it's what I love about the yoga system. They don't mention a specific God. So there is this belief in the yoga system that there's a word called Vairagya that means healthy detachment. And it's combined with surrender to God. And when I first read it, I was like, why have they combined those two? So that it's okay to have the vision, and it's okay to set your intentions. But if you are so attached to that you feel inadequate until you get it, that's not true manifestation. And if you really desire something, there is, like I said at the beginning, there's always going to be an opposing force. And you have to expect that challenge and know that when just before you get something that you really want, everything gets really, like this is happening with a program that we're building. The last 3 days, everything in the back end shit itself. The weirdest things were happening. People were getting sales for free. People weren't getting added to email lists. I was getting abusive emails from people. You took my money. And we're like, what the hell is going on? But this is a program that's built for the masses. And we started laughing. I was like, I know what's going on. We have to
I think Heidi's frozen. You guys seen that too?
It never happened to me.
Heidi, real quick, you froze.
Oh,
yeah,
my back?
You're back on.
So, manifestation. Be willing to trust that you don't have to do all of this yourself, and that if you continue on a cellular level to literally vibrate at the level of what you want to attract, you do that by practicing your values. You do that by becoming the person of the vision. That's what helps you start to vibrate at that level on a cellular level, and trust that you're ready to attract that, and that it doesn't have to be hard. I'm telling you, when you let go and just trust, look at the size of the universe. It's way more powerful than you. We get all controlling and try and do it all ourselves, and we're driving the ship every single part of the way, and you don't have to. Pip, visualize. This is the kind of person I want to work with. Guarantee you do that for 3 days, they're just going to turn up, or you already know the person. Make it easy. Visualize and set it out there and trust in something greater than yourself. We are one little energy bubble. There is a huge energy bubble out there. All you have to do is project and it will start to come. I'm not joking. So make it easy on yourselves. Yeah, do the practical work. Take action. But sometimes you need to surrender it and go, you know what? Like after all those technical issues we had this morning, I literally opened my computer after letting it go yesterday. I was like, I'm going to let it go. I danced around the lounge room with my daughter and her little mate, 10-year-olds, did makeup with them, danced around the lounge room. I just let the whole thing go. Had a glass of wine. I was like, I'm just leaving it. And you know what? This morning, magically, I don't know how, the lists are working properly and the Facebook ad is, you know, the Facebook account has turned itself back on. I didn't even get a message from them. And I was like, this is funny. So sometimes we just have to kind of, yes, have the vision, but trust that that vision of success that you have can come a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
So I'll pop in for you guys the audio, the spreadsheets, and these slides. So you've got a lot of homework to do.
Sweet. I think a lot of people have had some technical problems lately. I was making a joke the other day. I'm like, oh, I think it's because Mercury's in Gatorade right now. Everyone keeps talking about Mercury retrograde. I'm like, Mercury Gatorade?
Oh, yeah. It hasn't been fun.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, Heidi. You're an absolute rock star. Thank you so much. Wow, there's so much content there, and I can see everyone's like, yeah, that was so good.
Thanks
Guys,
for
give a round
having me. Awesome. Thank you. For those of you that are up at 3:30 in the morning, are you South Africans? I find the South Africans bloody so committed. Seriously.
They're hungry.
They're so hungry. We've got them in our program and I'm like, damn, they're like chomping at the bit. They email me every day. They're really excited. I'm like, I'm moving to South Africa.
That town is beautiful. Beautiful.
God, I love it. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Big love to you all. Sending you lots of good vibes for your businesses. Keep in touch.
And what I would love for you guys to do is I would love for you to do your projections like Heidi taught you, right? Put a dollar amount to your vision. And I want you to share in the Facebook group, do a live and just share what's shifting in you and what you've experienced, what you're noticing, what your mind is starting to direct itself to, because this is what happens. Remember I said your brain is a GGS, a goal-getting system, right? So when it knows what the numbers are, it can start measuring and track. It loves to measure and track things.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why you have to do it, guys, because your mind needs to know. A lot of the how and why and how and I don't know how, that all comes down when you get the figures down, because the mind is like, oh, now I know I need 10 sales a day to reach my dream life. Easy. I'll start with 1, 2, 3.
Yep. And as much as your unconscious mind is always looking for evidence to justify the bullshit stories that you tell yourself, it's also always looking for evidence on the empowering things too. It's always trying to find the evidence to go, do you know the people? Who are you connected with? Is that an open door of possibility there? Is that a new skill that I can acquire? It's also searching for that too, right? It's not all, doom and gloom. It's sunshine and rainbows as well. We get to tap into that side and run with that. So thank you so much. You're a freaking champion. I love the way you broke it down. I love that you were able to show us in visual forms too. And I'm sure everybody took so many notes. So yes, please share in the Facebook group what you're experiencing with this now and how you're shifting it. It's definitely something that I want to even consider moving forward with the vision piece. I'll have to have a chat with you, Heidi, of like how that can be even formed with it. Maybe we could collaborate together on making the vision piece even stronger.
Totally.
That would be so amazing.
Yeah, I love the vision. Like you know, every time I've heard you deliver it, and I've seen it a lot, but I still love it. It's still just, I find it so inspiring because I honestly don't know where my life would be without it. I'm frightened to think where my life would be without I've always done vision work, you know, so I love it.
Just one quick question, because I want everyone here on the call to take this away and just direct in their mind. When it comes to business, what do you believe about yourself to be true? Like 3 beliefs when it comes to business. Like what are the things that kind of you center your mind on when it comes to business?
I have no idea.
Now I'm coaching.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, 3 beliefs about business.
Yeah, that you hold in the forefront of your mind, that you feel are empowering beliefs when it comes to your perspective on business.
Well, number 1, whatever you think you're capable of, times it by 100. In business, for sure. Like people, this is what, and number 2, don't buy into what your mind tells you about what you're capable of, because I see it in businesses with people all the time. They are limiting themselves in massive ways. And 3, it's fun to serve. It's fun to be creative, and it's fun to serve in business. It's so much fun, guys. Like, you get really good at those little things that I shared today, and you can just use like rinse and repeat, and it's fun.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love it. Awesome. Thanks for bringing us into your mind and teaching everything you know. Champion. All right, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. Heidi, appreciate you. Love you lots.
Bye. Thanks.
The next call, okay? And next week we have Sonia Zabatani.
Oh, cool. She's awesome.
Yeah. So the thing about Sonia too is really go into what Heidi was teaching you today.
Yeah, you need projections.
Yeah, because she's going to come in, like you're going to share your ideas and she's going to exit on a board behind her, and like within minutes will tell you whether your business is going to succeed or not. And she'll tell you why, and she'll break down the numbers really well. So just started getting really clear. How many clients you're looking at, what number you want to get to, how's the business going to serve, what kind of products would you offer or services will you offer, who are your target audience, what location, like get really clear on those points and bring that to the table. And we'll try and get through as many as we can. But what will happen too, even if you don't get on for her to answer your question, you're going to learn from the way that she coaches the other people too. Okay.
She's got great energy. Great energy.
A lot of it. Yeah. Awesome. Right, big love. I'll catch y'all later. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.